My name is Jack Greenberg. I will be your host today for the Small Cap Insights podcast powered by Darrow Associates. Thank you all for joining us. We are a leading full-service investor relations firm that is focused primarily on micro and small cap equities. Joining us on today's episode is Eric Kuby, the CIO, and Brooke Kuby, research analyst, both of Northstar Investments. Eric and Brooke, thank you both for joining us.
Great to be here. Thanks, Jack.
Awesome. So let's get started, Eric. If you could kind of give us an overview of your background and your role at the firm, and then Brooke, we'll go ahead and follow up with you. That'd be great.
Sure. Well, I'm the Chief Investment Officer and one of the founders of Northstar. I have been in the investment management business for over 40 years now, and my career began after attending the University of Chicago, where I actually went to from kindergarten through business school. My partner, Peter Gottlieb, and I have been working together since 1989 without a single argument. And in 2003, we decided to make it to start our own firm, which was just been an amazing and terrific thing for us. We have built a great organization, full suite of financial services. We're managing about $2.5 billion now, and we have a team of 27 terrific people who all share a passion for serving clients.
That's great. And Brooke, if you could go ahead and expand on yours.
Yeah. So I'm Brooke Kuby. I attended the University of Southern California and have been with Northstar for about 5 years full time now. My primary role is as research analyst. I cover just under 120 names across all sectors for our small cap strategies. And then in addition to that, I do work closely with our marketing team and oversee our summer intern program, which is really fun. And I think it's cool that Northstar kind of has a role in educating the next generation of investors. So wear many hats, but having a great time.
I love that. Well, thank you both for that. Eric, if you wouldn't mind kind of walking me through North Star's investment philosophy and what you guys kind of look for when approaching potential investments, would be really helpful.
Right. So our DNA is in value, old school value investing, from the Warren Buffett, Graham and Dodd, beginnings. And we have a particular emphasis on small caps, which we, believe to be an area there that sort of exceptional value exists if you can find it. We look to buy and hold companies that we can that fit into our six characteristics mosaic that are statistically undervalued, have a defensible business model, maintain a high quality balance sheet, show improving business prospects, and are led by aligned management. And then most maybe important to us is that these are typically simple, easy to understand businesses with capital structures that we can understand. We fundamentally believe we're investing in companies, not trading ticker symbols. And so we want to feel as if we're an owner of the company and like the business that we're investing in.
That's really helpful. So you mentioned those six criteria. Brooke, what does that kind of look like on your side? What does a deeper dive on the research side for North Star look like? How do you determine whether a company truly fits within your strategy?
Yeah, I mean, the universe is so vast. So, taking a deeper dive is especially important. And for us, that really starts with talking to the company's management team. It's a pretty crucial part of our process. And, we engage directly with the management. We really like to hear how they tell their story. So that can, go from, how they view the competitive landscape or their capital allocation priorities or just a general sense of, their thoughts behind their long-term strategy. So after that, we cross-check that narrative and our notes with our own analysis that we've prepared ahead of time. And in addition, we like to speak with another analyst that covers the name, and share notes with other small cap managers that we have a relationship with and respect. So, the small cap ecosystem, as vast as it is in terms of the universe, there's very few people that are still doing actively managed small cap portfolios. So, and then, once a company does pass that initial screen, to Eric's mention of the six characteristics, there are really two that we found that a company needs to have, and that would be the defensible business model, and a demonstrated record of growing revenue and earnings. Because from our experience, without those two, a strong balance sheet or an aligned management team can only really take a company so far. So the other four pillars matter, but they don't compensate for a business that isn't growing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really
And,
like.
and I'm sorry, I'd like to just
Sure, go
add
ahead.
that, over time, you also do build some intuition. Peter and I, as portfolio managers, have been doing this together for almost 30 years. And after investing in hundreds of companies, sometimes multiple times, we've owned companies for 10 years and then been out of them and then back into them 5 years later. We really did just start to discern patterns of what works and what doesn't work. And that's part of our special sauce is this vast experience. And that helps us better gauge, which one of these opportunities are more likely to succeed than the others.
Yeah. I really like the management team emphasis. I think that's really important. But you guys have spoke about your proclivity towards small cap stocks. Can you speak on that and what you think investors kind of overlook about the small cap segment of the market?
Well, I mean, again, as Brooke mentioned, it's a vast universe. There's thousands of companies, and many of them have no coverage, no research coverage. So we're really looking for mispriced securities. And my interest dates all the way back to when I was in business school. The courses at the University of Chicago, then we're really focusing on the small firm effect, which basically said that over a long period of time, active management on these small companies, because they're inefficiently priced, can produce higher risk-adjusted returns than other equities. Um, so again, that's the interest in small caps. Then they've been out of favor, for quite a while, and we just think it just creates a great time, for investors to take another look at small caps. They're so undervalued. They've been out of favor. These things do rotate, and we think that this is again, as Brooke said, a vast universe of opportunities.
Yeah, and so let's talk a little bit about the offerings that North Star has. You guys offer both separately managed accounts and mutual funds, but if you could go into that a little bit, that'd be great.
Sure. I mean, it's primarily through our mutual funds that offer our actively managed strategies. It's the simplest way, for investors to get into that process with us. We do have a small cap as well as balanced and a bond portfolio, but it's really our research process on the small caps that allows us to offer these related strategies to investors. If they prefer SMAs, we do SMAs. It's the same strategy, the same portfolio. It's just offered in an SMA, and we can tailor them, in response to specific investor interest as well. So for example, we do offer a small cap dividend strategy more concentrated than even our dividend fund to a local consulting firm here. And again, that is, but regardless of whether it's the funds or it's SMAs, our team, it's the same team and it's our same responsiveness in order to provide materials and reporting to all of our investors.
Yeah, and you mentioned kind of managing through multiple market cycles and picking up patterns, but what kind of key lessons would you say stick out over your career that have, continued to influence your decisions in today's environment?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it all gets back to what you own to start with before a downturn. I mean, if you own a company that meets our characteristics that you think is undervalued, that's got a good balance sheet and solid defensible moats to their business, then the pain that one might endure in a difficult market, you have a sense of confidence that you're going to come out of it on the other side And those are actually opportunities to be adding to those positions. Again, those choppy markets actually sometimes present the best opportunities because, again, if you're looking at companies that are often not well followed and somewhat illiquid, and there's a tough market, they can really reach really crazy, insane undervaluations. And again, we're on top of it, ready to take advantage of those.
Yeah, I would just add there, like, we really try to look beyond the headlines. And so, as Eric mentioned, we try to really understand what's actually happening to the underlying business, and be nimble in those times and try to de-emphasize companies that may be more challenged and then reallocate into companies that might be better set up or better positioned for the environment.
I love that philosophy of looking at a downturn as an opportunity to buy more, though. I admire that. But to wrap it up here, looking ahead, for North Star, what are kind of the sectors or themes that appear most compelling to you over the next few years, might be underappreciated?
Yeah. Well, just to start off, I mean, we are approaching the peak of a very long period of outperformance of large caps. And actually, if you look at the data on a 10-year basis, small caps tend to underperform large caps by about 5% on an annualized basis. But then in the following 10 years, small caps tend to outperform large caps by 7 to 10%. So, we think that we're at the precipice of a really rare setup. And, some themes, as Eric mentioned, we run a small cap dividend strategy. We've always been very constructive on dividend paying stocks. Actually, a surprisingly large portion of small caps are dividend payers. And especially now with interest rates coming down, we think that the alternatives of allocating into money market funds or bank deposits, actually make the dividend payers really attractive. And so even though yesterday Chairman Powell did kind of pour some cold water on another rate cut being locked in, we think that another cut is still somewhat likely. So we really like the dividend payers.
And we are seeing some really great opportunities in some specific sectors that have also been kind of challenged by both the high interest rates and the tariff concerns. So, sort of specifically, some of the consumer discretionary names, there's just been concern that there's going to be a recession, as there seems to have been a concern there's going to be a recession for like 4 years. But a lot of these consumer names have been struggling share price wise, even though their businesses are pretty strong, over concerns over demand. And then the tariff concerns, have created a lot of concerns over costs. But we find that we talk to these companies and they've been spending a lot of time, getting themselves in the right place to confront whatever tariffs may come, changing sourcing, pricing models. And so I think that those concerns have been sort of over exaggerated in the stock prices, leaving that's mainly for the consumer and also a lot of the small industrial companies that have suffered in that regard. And then also the financials, the small cap financials, I think offer great value. A lot of these things are trading below at very depressed prices to book value. And if you do get short-term rates coming down, which we believe to be the case, and long-term rates staying steady or rising, you get a better spread, interest rate spread for those financial institutions. So we think there's great opportunities there as well.
That's great. A lot of great insight there. I appreciate the long-term vision. And I wanted to thank you both again for being on the podcast. It's been really great. If you guys are interested learning a little bit more about North Star Investments, check out their website, nsinvest.com. And they also have a weekly blog, Kuby's Commentary, that is posted every Monday. You can also visit darrowir.com for more information on Darrow Associates. And we'll see you all in the next episode. Thanks again for coming, Eric and Brooke.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jack.